Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nasty Gram RPG podcast. This is Dark Legacy, Episode 6, Blessed Be the Peacemakers.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic. Redemption.
Dr. Vunt, I am writing to you at your request that we continue this therapy despite our time together coming to an end. I understand that you hope to publish your book soon. I do pray that the principles of physiological psychology is well received by other members of your community. I would like to assure you that even though these topics would suggest deviant behavior, as you informally diagnosed, the kind that may constitute some sort of trauma left over from the war, I am quite well and have not allowed these observations to encroach upon my social obligations. I will pose this question, though. Would I be aware of its effects on me? I have found that I have made a grave mistake as to the procurement of some rather extremely deadly chemical explosives. And there is no ready explanation or memory that would suggest how this could have happened. There is nothing in my mind's eye that I can recall as to how these chemicals came to be in my possession, not even the request for such a thing or the physical acquisition of them. But here they are, aboard my storage car, threatening the lives of everyone who rode this train. But what tempers my worry is that the same irregularity has affected a comrade of mine. He, too, has made a lethal decision, packing armaments. Could this be a sickness, one that could spread? Additionally, I have seen the impossible on this same trip, the most recent being a case of a woman's handprints in the most improbable circumstances. The context of this discovery lends itself only to the possibility of a supernatural influence. Common factual evidence has run its course. I am in the company of well-reasoned men, some that argue passionately that the explanation must be a mundane one. But in the face of what we have observed, even those well-reasoned words fall flat. I travel now further into the wilderness to speak to a native, one that may have more certain answers for the events around us. I hope for my health and sanity that there is an explanation that has, to this point, eluded me. I would appreciate it if you continued to keep my personal identity out of your research, but that my experiences help. Best of luck with the book, Doctor. Sincerely, Silas Keene.
Hey, this is Jake, your storyteller.
Hey, everyone. This is Dan playing Silas Keene, the photographer and explosives expert, apparently.
Hey, this is John. I'm playing Noah Fashnacht, the demon hunter.
Hey, it's Ryan. I'm Les Kershaw, the former Pony Express rider who was back in the saddle at the end of this episode.
This is Josh playing Kingsley Burke, wannabe 19th century Dana Scully.
Holla, this is Matt playing Benton Beauclair, the voodoo priest war veteran who's really enjoying watching white people squabble.
All right, guys, I got to say, this game requires more notes than any game I've run in a very long time. I have in front of me a clipboard, a notepad, and my phone with a Word document on it.
Bro, you got to get on the Google Sheets game.
I know. Yeah. I'm not up to speed with the tech.
If you listen to our bonus content, we talk all about writing a game.
Right. So I need all of this stuff for my recap. So you guys investigated the handprints. You found out that Silas had brought 400 pounds of very explosive chemicals along with him and didn't remember. Noah brought a Gatling gun along with him and didn't remember it, both of which have been left behind now. There was some debating whether or not there were supernatural causes or just bad bookkeeping. And now you're all off to meet with Marlowe's mother. So we ended the game. You guys are sitting in a little hunting cabin where Marlowe said he would wait until you return.
I think the other detail there too. Did you say it at the top that the handprints in the mud?
Handprints in the mud. Yeah, I mentioned
with
it.
the ring and the.
Oh yes, with the ring
rings.
and the pinky.
2 rings.
And when we hear Silas's journal entry about that, he can remind us.
Perfect.
So let's pick up with you guys leaving the cabin in the morning. So it is now December 21st, 7 a.m.
Jake, before we get started, I'm gonna unpack my rucksack, and I'm just gonna check all the items in there, make sure there's nothing in there that I didn't pack myself, that I don't remember packing. There's like 6 things in there. Are there still 6 things?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
4 gallons of laudanum.
Sometimes it's a vibrator.
Benton's probably he's probably outside doing his morning prayers.
Okay.
As the sun comes up.
Jake, you mentioned the date. What's when does he turn 50, Marlowe? When's our D-Day?
Hold on.
January 3rd?
And
I thought it was second.
Fuck. It's in one of these notepads.
Just say January 2nd, then January 3rd, then January 4th. Cut the one.
January 2nd.
January
Marley's birthday is
2nd.
in 2 weeks, January 2nd. So if it's been 2 days, we have 11 days? 12 days?
It is the 21st. So
I can't do math like that. What the fuck, bro?
So yeah, you've got 12 days.
On the 12th day of Christmas.
And Benton is outside praying. Marlowe is loading that rifle, Noah, and he says, not really sure where the Tutelo tribe is. They're kind of move around a lot, but you keep heading northwest on that road and they'll find you.
Yeah, I would imagine they would want to know who is traveling their land, yeah?
I imagine so.
Is there anything we should know before we meet them? Any kind of customs that they appreciate?
He shrugs. He says, not really sure, but what you need to know about my mother is that the last couple of years before she moved out here, she gave up on God and started saying a lot of crazy things. I think she was kind of losing her grip a bit.
Crazy how, Marlowe? Silas kind of turns from the window.
Just things that didn't make much sense. You know how the elderly tend to get.
You reckon it was age? And not turning from God?
Could have been both.
Silas opens the door to the cabin and kind of steps out and looks out kind of down the mountains, checking to see if there's any pterodactyls flying around.
Kingsley kind of holds back. He's the last to leave the cabin. He turns to James and he says, well, James, I reckon I'm going to remind myself of your words before class election back at, where do we go to school?
Georgetown.
Class election back at Georgetown. Know when to speak and when to let the other fellow speak and to listen. I think that might be my time. And I'd like to ask you something, James. As you're here, take care of yourself. And he looks up and down the railroad track. Whoever approaches, trust no one, James.
Well, that, I believe, has become sort of the motto of the time, hasn't it? Trust no one. We won't get sued for that, right?
Please cue in just a little hint of the X-Files soundtrack.
Bow, 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 bow.
Just a really bad keyboard playing of it.
I want to believe, yeah?
Safe travels, gentlemen.
There's a picture of a forest with a giant bird creature in the background.
As you can see, the train tracks end here, but you'll see a road just up ahead. Keep following that.
You sure you don't want me to stay here with you, Mr. Marlowe?
I think it's
Keep an eye on you.
I can handle it. I don't think anyone's coming up this way, and if they do, well, if I have to, I've got this. He points to the rifle. Otherwise, I'll just make sure I'm not seen.
It's about this time the front door opens up and Benton comes in. He will be safe. Remember, you chose your path the other day. He would be, no matter the cost, he be safe. Now, we go.
Yeah. Noah steps out into the out of the cabin. Rifle slung around his back.
Dambala said, the path before us, it is full of knowledge, but it will not be safe, he said.
As Silas walks out the door, kind of to this, he takes one last look to back at, probably as he's walking across the porch, he looks through the window at Marlowe, thinking about the lengths he's going to for this man and, leaving him here on his own. Just kind of crosses his mind as he walks down to the tracks.
Okay. You guys walk into the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Down this dirt path. It's a quiet morning. I don't know if you're all talking while you walk.
I think Silas is pretty quiet this morning.
I said Benton's quiet. He's probably up front looking for signs of people, things, animals, whatever could be out there.
Kingsley is decidedly quiet. You see, he's taken efforts to, he looks much less the politician. He's never going to look as rugged as Les, but he's kind of tried to dress the part. You see, how the clothes he's wearing. He's a little bit more fit for the road and less for appearances, but he's not being distant physically from anybody, but he's decidedly less chatty than he normally is.
Noah goes over to Kingsley and kind of trots over and says, Mr. Burke, I want to perhaps apologize for yesterday. Things are happening that I cannot understand through the lens of perhaps the mundane. And it is disheartening, yeah? Disheartening to think that you will be able to do something that you do not remember, yeah?
In a way, I want to say that I understand, and then again, I don't. I find myself feeling his glance kind of sweeps around very much the outlier here and facing gunfire and actual fire. These are not things that I'm accustomed to, and I apologize as well if I was harsh in my words, but I do look to you all as men of strength and valor, very much how I've looked to James and my brother Charlie, and if I can offer anything, it's that we trust to our reason, because I trust to you all to keep us safe from whatever mortal threats we face.
Yeah. You are right. Reason is what we should be looking towards. There are times where perhaps as an inventor, you look beyond what is known. Perhaps my mind tends to build these stories, yeah. But with this reason, with what happens in this world, there is always God behind it, yeah. The things that we have built, the crafts we have perfected, they are all because of Him.
What is possible and impossible can defy understanding, and I will try to stretch my mind to accommodate that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, this experience in these woods is more of the mundane, yeah?
I dare say I'm afraid it's going to be stretching it no matter what we uncover.
If you do not let it bend, I fear it will break, Mr. Burke.
Well, let us see what we can find.
So after walking for about half of the day, you guys break for a little bit of lunch, a little break.
Are we still on horseback, right?
Yeah. And
Thank Jesus.
you get off your horses to stretch your legs at this little kind of cliffside almost, where this overwatch where you can actually see the smokestacks of Black Valley. Kind of south of where you are now. You've looped around the town, but you can see like the smoke coming from it, from that fire the other day, which you were told would probably burn for a few days because that stuff tends to not get put out easily. So you're sitting there, kind of taking a break. The wind is cold and kind of howling through here, and you hear a whistle. And you all kind of look up abruptly, and you see coming around the bend, you see two men. Besides their sort of darker complexion and long dark hair, their clothing and equipment looks the same as all of you. Maybe a little bit more road worn, but they're generally wearing. One of them is wearing like a uniform jacket, and the other one is just wearing like furs, but they're dressed pretty normal. But they're clearly natives. They've both got long hair put back. They've got some jewelry on, and they both have rifles, not pointed at you, but they're both holding rifles. And the one in front looks like he's probably in his early 20s. He waves at all of you. And he says, "Hello? May I approach?"
Yeah.
Bonjour.
He looks at you questioningly, Matt, when you say that. And he says, I don't know that word. I'm sorry.
Come.
You're all far from Black Valley?
Yeah. Well, we are here to speak to Ashila, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are here to speak to Ashila.
He nods. Yes. My name is Osanu. His companion says something to him in their language, and they exchange a few words.
Kingsley leans over to Les and says, "Are they Tortolas?"
I just shrug.
I cast comprehend languages.
Nice.
I would think so. I don't know of any other tribes in these parts, but
Ryan, you can tell based on the way they're dressed, and you're not sure why, but you know that they are a hunting party, and not a normal hunting party. They're on a special hunt of some sort, and you're not sure why you know that. I mean, you, Ryan, know why you know that.
Yeah.
Classic pterodactyl hunting party.
Osanu says, "You seek You seek the Mother of the Mountain.
Yeah. If that is who we are looking for, yeah.
Did you fellas happen to know we were coming?
He shakes his head.
All right.
Notice a large bag of birdseed on your shoulder.
We can point you in the right direction.
She does not live with you.
She lives here in this forest, as do we. She's not far.
Chalice nods his head.
He points to not a mountain, but like a hillside of the mountain, not far from you. And he says, "You need to go there, the top of that hill. On the west side, you will see a peak with a brook that flows to a small pond. And there you'll find a cave." He looks at the other guy and he smirks. And then he turns back to all of you and he says, "Mother of the Mountain waits for you there."
She lives alone in a cave.
He nods.
I kind of glance around at the rest of you guys.
They exchange a few words, and Ryan, you catch one of them says, "Let the white man do the work for us for once." But they talk to each other a little bit, and then he says, "You go there and she will find you."
Well, danke. That is very helpful, yeah?
I don't think they'll know that word either.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, yeah.
He kind of points down the path the way you guys came and says, "We're going this way."
I don't know how helpful it'll be for you now, but I think we saw what you were looking for a few days back near the ravine.
How do you know what we look for?
Just a hunch. You're not equipped to. Well, I mean, you're equipped for big game. Only big game I saw in these parts is. Well, it was mighty strange, but.
He says, "You're observant." He kind of nods and keeps walking by, and he says a few things to his companion. And as his companion walks by you, he stops and he looks at you and he says, "There are 2 wolves in you." And then he keeps walking.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
And they walk past, kind of carefully walk past you guys. You know, it's always like these kind of interactions are always like,
They'll touch
don't keep your
Why
hands
they-
up
yeah.
where you can see
Why
them.
are you so touchy?
No one make any quick moves.
What could possibly? Well, that settles this then. The Mother of the Mountain. Quite a title, yeah?
Quite an unusual circumstance. An elderly woman living alone in a cave?
In a swamp surrounded by giant bees. Fuck you, Matt. I'm gonna get you.
Just get riddled.
You don't think there was any misunderstanding about who
I think he
Looking
understood
for?
the name that I gave, yeah?
Seemed pretty straightforward.
Les, how did you know they were on a big game hunting, yeah?
Well, I mean, you saw how they were outfitted, right?
Yeah, but
We're looking for squirrels.
Well, I mean, I expect that they hunt for food, yeah? For deer and wild boar.
Deer maybe in these parts, but they I mean, I didn't see anything to, to prep the deer.
Anyway,
So you mean they hunt to kill only?
It seemed like it. They were.
are my kind of folks.
what do you think they were hunting?
I reckon they were hunting what we saw the other night. What took care of Dawson for us or for his friend? I can't recollect which, but
A predator.
yeah, they weren't prepped to bring rations back with them.
Well, then perhaps we take comfort in the fact that those who know these lands know that something hunts it. Perhaps this predator is not so strange to them.
Yeah?
Jake, I draw my pistol and I pull the chamber out, make sure it's loaded, put
Okay.
it back. We should press on.
Yeah, get there before it gets too late.
It's early afternoon when you get to the place that Osanu told you to go to. As he said, near the crest of this hill, there is a stream. And there's a place where that stream sort of collects into a little pond before running down a couple small waterfalls and rivulets off the edge. But it's a, fairly good-sized pond of very clean, clear, deep water. You all get a nice cool drink, and you notice it's chock full of fish. This is a nice little spot. And near the rock face, you do see a pretty low cave. Anyone who's 6 feet or taller is going to definitely have to crouch to go in there. It looks like one large kind of slab of granite that comes out over and creates this kind of overhang and then goes deeper into the darkness. But near the entrance to that cave, you see a metal bowl, and it's kind of smoldering. There was a fire in it at one point.
How big is it, Jake?
It's probably about a foot wide. And as you guys kind of approach, you notice that there are some burnt pieces of wood, some root and other random kind of brush that have been put in there and burnt. Matt, why don't you give me an occult and intelligence roll?
Okay. 3 successes.
Okay. You have heard about there are many different tribes of natives who have very different sort of spiritual rituals and stuff that they do. But this is something that you've actually heard of, which is this brazier has been placed here and lit to guide the spirit of someone who is about to die.
Word. Would I know what tribe, or just that it's a native people's custom?
Yeah, you're not sure which tribe.
She was her
She was a Wampanoag.
Wampanoag. Yeah.
Oh, right. These aren't her. This is not her
Right.
native tribe.
Right.
One of her parents was Native American.
Right, but not this tribe.
No.
Fun fact, the Tutilo were a real tribe in West Virginia. They are extinct.
Sad.
Is that a fun? Are we calling that a fun fact?
Is that a fun fact? Hey, the Wampanoags are still around.
They're
so,
around. They got a casino, right? Yeah.
Did James ever tell us where he met his, or where his father met?
He didn't. You just found out that.
Right.
Yeah. You do know that his father worked for the Bureau of Indian Affairs.
That's right. Yep.
So
Okay.
there's a good chance that had something to do with it.
Don't shit where you eat.
Yikes.
Is this perhaps a fire for her?
In a way, yeah. I think some of the native peoples, they use this for ritual when they pass to guide the spirit. We may not have much time if this is indeed a Shula.
Well, let us see if she is about, yeah?
Yeah.
Clarify for me, Benton. Do you think she is trying to usher her son's spirit here?
No, I think maybe her spirit
I see. You believe she is dying.
would be my guess.
I look around. Are there any other, are there lines where she hangs up fish to dry? Are there any,
No, you don't see anything.
which would be pretty unusual, right?
Yeah.
There would be a certain amount of
civilization or not, well, accoutrement that are around this.
Yeah,
Right.
there's nothing.
Accoutrement.
Well, this is not the Airbnb I fucking booked. 1 star.
Where's my fish drying rack? The fuck? You said in the listing there was a fish drying rack.
My fish were soaking wet the entire time.
All right. Well, I kind of take a step up towards the cave entrance, and I kind of slowly, working with light and dark and those sorts of things, I let my eyes kind of begin to adjust before I walk too far into the actual cave.
Okay. You do that. You get a little closer to the entrance, and it smells a little bit like stagnant water and rot.
Yum.
Nope.
Wet fish.
Nope.
Wet fish.
Like wet fish that just hasn't been dried properly.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Silas kind of takes another step in while his eyes are adjusting, and he says, Sheila.
You hear,
Nope. I take I backpedal immediately.
That's not snowflake. That's not snowflake.
you hear,
I pull my.
and a bear.
What the fuck?
I am backpedaling very quickly.
Oh, a bear is charging you,
Okay.
so I hope so.
I stand my ground.
I'm trying to pull my revolver out as well.
Coming out of the cave
You aren't loaded for bear.
is a black bear. It stands about 4 feet at the shoulder. Completely black fur, except for kind of some gray spots around its neck and head area. It's about 6 feet long and probably weighs upwards of 400 pounds.
Cool.
Nice.
And it is coming right towards Silas, the man with the least amount of health.
Kingsley was
Sure, it's not a bear or a puma.
dismounted his horse and was in the process of tying it off to a low-hanging branch, and he sees this and kind of stumbles and trips over a root and falls down, like trying to fumble for his pistol.
What is Silas doing?
He's shaking his fist at the heavens and cursing Asanu. And no, he's kind of trying to do like two things at once, which is scramble backwards and then get the revolver out of the holster. He's not. I mean, he usually has his holdout pistol. He's not
right.
Not really
right.
These are like guns.
Not a gunslinger. Contrary to his kill rate, but
Okay.
yeah. So that's what he's doing.
Noah?
I was probably pretty close on the heels of Silas. So as soon as I see the bear, I stumble backwards and pull the rifle out, or unsling the rifle from my back and start to take aim.
Okay. And
I'm actually going to fire into the sky at it. Like,
Okay.
try to scare it.
Benton?
Benton was probably off by the brazier, seeing if he could tell what was burned in it.
Okay.
So he's probably just like off to the side of the mouth of the cave as Silas comes backpedaling out.
Pretty close. The brazier was pretty close. So
Yeah.
Dan, something else?
Just a question: does the bear have ladies' hands?
You haven't seen them yet. And less.
Bear with a pinky ring.
Wait.
Nice. We're still on horseback?
You can be.
Yeah, I am.
You
Yeah.
never got off it.
Never.
Okay.
I never get off a horse.
Pony boy.
Pony Express motto.
What are you gonna
Oh, I
do?
remember of last night at Marlowe.
Yeah.
When I waited in to wake you up.
It was weird, right? It was weird. So I'm going to kind of charge in a little bit, but also
Okay.
with and kind of fire a rifle up in the air.
Okay.
To try to,
All right.
yeah,
All right.
startle the bear.
All right. Dan.
Huh?
You stumble back and reach for that revolver. Why don't you give me a roll of wits and firearms? And then John and Ryan, roll composure and intimidate and roll 2 dice extra each.
When do we level up in this game? I need to put some points in the firearms.
Kingsley's going to take an extra moment to go for his pistol, but if he gets to it, he is not shooting up in the air. He's shooting at the bear.
Go ahead and give me that same for you composure and firearms.
Okay.
2 for Noah.
2 for Noah.
3.
Those are the intimidate rolls. All right, 2 and 3.
3 successes for Silas.
3 successes to shoot.
3 for Kingsley.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're about to murder his mom.
Josh, your gun is what kind of gun? What do you using?
A pistol that someone gave me.
Yeah, I think probably one of the ones from the bodies.
We said the pistols are 1, so lethal 1. We said.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, Dan, I rolled really bad. Good for you. Mm-hmm. All right.
Another one bust dust.
Wow.
Rootin', tootin', shooting Silas. I don't want to kill it.
Okay, so it comes out. Noah, unless you two react pretty quickly, Les, you've probably encountered a bear. Noah, you, on an intellectual level, understand what to do.
Yeah.
So you start shouting and shooting your guns up into the air and trying to make yourself look big and intimidating, which slows the bear down for a moment. But then, all of a sudden, to your shock and surprise, you hear a handgun fire from behind you, and you turn to see that Kingsley has just shot the thing. Another handgun fires as as Silas stumbles backwards and draws the gun, like almost falling down as he shoots it. And both of your bullets hit, and it seems like it is just enraged by being shot. But you both shoot it with your pistols, and it rears up on its hind legs. And when it does this, you all notice that it looks weird. There's something in its fur almost that looks... It looks almost like mud, like slimy mud. This bear doesn't look well.
Okay.
Silas, get away from it.
Silas's response is he's like scrambling backwards.
Yep.
Oh, now you dumb pissed it off.
He's gonna do that rather than like focus on getting away more than shooting it.
Okay.
Since it did not seem to slow it down.
Okay. All right.
But I think his plan will be like once he's got his footing underneath him, he'll take another shot.
Okay. But primarily trying to kind of get
Away.
to safety and then take a shot. All right. So for
Brave
right
Sir
now.
Robin ran away.
Okay. John.
Noah is going to take aim, like making noise and puffing up, but he'll shoot if the bear attempts to like charge Silas. But
all right.
he's not going to shoot if it stays back.
Okay. Les.
I'm gonna kind of feint towards it a little bit on horse to try to draw its attention, and then head off away from everyone.
Okay. Josh, what is...
Kingsley's trying to stumble back to his feet and frantically trying to get the reins untied from his horse, and he is working on getting back on the horse and getting away.
All right. Benton?
He's pulled out his knife and is probably trying to climb up the cliffside or rocks, whatever make up the outside of this cave, to kind of like get above it if it comes out.
Okay. Okay, Matt, you give me a roll of melee and dexterity. John, roll firearms and composure.
Okay.
Ryan, dexterity and ride. Josh, you don't have to roll anything this turn.
Me neither.
Yeah, you don't have to roll either.
Sweet.
2.
Jesus Christmas.
2 for Noah.
I got 6.
6. Wow. Okay.
You ride the bear.
All right. So the bear goes up on its hind legs, and then it comes down, and as Silas kind of scrambles away and Les gets to his horse, it looks towards Benton, and who is standing over that bowl, and Matt, it just charges you. It slams right into you, and keeps going, and kind of tramples right over you. You take 6 non-lethal.
What does that mean?
It means that you're not dead. How many health boxes do you have?
Can you soak any of that?
You don't.
7.
Non-lethal? Non-lethal.
You don't soak. You make an opposed roll and you take that much less.
Oh, okay.
There's no
Oh, that's
soaking
what
anymore.
the-
Soaking isn't a thing anymore.
That's the
Yeah.
melee thing.
How many boxes do you have?
7.
So you did 8.
7. Okay, so you're up. Non-lethal. What happens is if you fill up on non-lethal, then more non-lethal, it becomes lethal. It just kind of ran you over. If it had clawed you, it would have been lethal damage. But it just kind of tackled you, essentially smashed through you. So think of it as being like punched and beaten and bruised kind of damage. It heals quickly, but gets serious if you take enough of it. But it knocks you to the ground and keeps going. I'm sorry, John, what did you say you got for successes? 2. Okay. All right. I assume you shoot it.
If it charges, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It charges past and you shoot it, and it kind of wavers because it's like in full trot at this point.
Yeah.
And it turns towards you. You can see it's pretty unsteady, but now it's looking at you. And then Les comes out of nowhere on his horse and kind of starts riding around in circles. Your horse wants nothing to do with this thing, but you've got good enough control over it to that you're kind of distracting it, and you feel pretty confident in your ability to evade it because you can move this horse faster than you think the bear can run. So what you have done effectively, Ryan, is draw its attention. But I'm going to let you now for this probably last round, because the bear's pretty hurt. I'm going to let you use ride and dex to oppose its attack against you. So you go ahead and roll that. That's what you're doing. What is everyone else doing?
If it's attacking less, then I shoot it.
Okay, go ahead. And anyone else want to?
Discretion being the better part of valor.
I think Silas is not confident in shooting into the group or with less circling it. So he's going to kind of just hold his action in case there's kind of a dire need to shoot.
Okay, all right. Benton?
Not or nothing.
Okay. Hanging out on the ground.
Yeah, I just
All
got
right.
run over by a fucking bear. I'm not moving.
Drive-by bear.
John, how many successes did you get?
5.
Holy shit. And Ryan?
I got 5 as well.
5 as well.
Yes.
Okay.
They call us the bear wranglers.
Ryan, roll a d10. High, it hits you. Low, it hits your horse.
You know you're not playing D&D
Hits me.
when you're
Okay.
in combat and 3 of the 5 party are not attacking and realistically evading or running or trampled.
You basically you get its attention and then try to kind of draw it off, knowing that Noah is taking aim at it. It moves faster than you expected. It kind of sprints and it comes at you and it swipes at you with its paw and it knocks you off your horse. You take 1 lethal damage. It rolled 6. Yeah.
What would you have rolled otherwise? Dex and
Oh,
melee?
nothing. Whatever.
Roll.
No, whatever.
Oh,
whatever.
you were beat
Yeah.
up from before,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I got shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan is taking all the lethal
He got
damage.
shot yesterday. Yesterday. folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but think about when you're like, oh, yesterday I worked out, I feel sore. No, you got shot yesterday.
I'm bleeding through my shirt still, probably.
You hit the ground pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then you hear that rifle again, and the bear falls to the ground.
Les, are you okay? Noah kind of runs over, keeping distance from the bear.
I go.
I ain't dead, but I've been better.
I go over and offer my hand to you, Benton, to get up.
I'll take it, using the rocks behind me to kind of lift myself to my feet, check myself over.
You in one piece, Benton.
Maybe
Your nose is bloody, and you know you're going to have some serious bruises from that. But you're in one piece. You don't think you have any broken bones.
Mother of the mountain, yeah. I think we are doing their job for them.
They set us up.
Yeah. It was a trap or a trick. Either way.
It is bizarre, no? I'm pointing to the bowl.
You all hear a voice say, "Did Usanu send you in his place?" And you turn and you see this old woman, probably in her 60s, dressed in kind of doeskin clothing, a lot less practical, not practical, but less modern than the last two guys you met.
Yeah.
Most natives at this point are wearing the best quality clothes they can get, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So for her to be wearing what she's wearing is almost like she's making a point.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a shorter woman, long black hair with streaks of gray in it.
Are you all right? Is she coming out of the cave?
No,
Okay.
she is coming out of the woods.
Was this a bear intruding in your home?
This is the bear's home. Or it was. Usano and his party were supposed to come and send it on its way. She starts walking towards it, and she pulls out a knife with a antler handle. She leans down in front of it and starts saying a prayer. And she says, "There was something wrong with this beast. It was old. It had been here for many years, but something afflicted it." She kind of holds a hand up, and you see that goo on her hand. She wipes it on the ground. It was decided that she should be released.
Well, if they had been honest and upfront, my companions are skilled hunters. We could have taken care of this without nearly being the death of several of us.
I suppose Usano probably saw this as a win either way. She starts cutting the bear.
Well, Noah kind of looks sheepishly down, like as if we interrupted like an entire, ritual process. He says, I am sorry to have interrupted this, perhaps, ceremony. Yeah. We didn't know. We tried to scare it off and,
Sorry.
well, yeah,
We actually came looking for you, Ashila.
She nods, still kind of dressing the bear, cutting it and not facing any of you.
If there were dry fishing lines, you could hang up the skin. I'm just saying.
It's fine.
She says, "I assumed as much."
Noah's going to kneel down next to the bear and take a look at the grimy goop, ooze, whatever. Maybe get a sense of what it might be.
Do you want to give me a medicine roll?
I don't even know. I don't think I have medicine.
It's got the rabies.
Yeah, I don't have medicine. It'd be more of like seeing if it's some sort of synthetic or man-made thing.
It's
like oil or
it's nothing nothing you can identify.
Okay.
Cthulhu jizz is not on your list.
What is this substance? Some sort of mud, yeah?
No. There's something here, but you know that already. That is why you've come, right?
We have come for answers about your son.
About your family.
Yeah.
Kingsley makes his way off the horse and over to Les first, and then to Benton after, and just sort of checking on them, seeing how hurt they are.
She says, "When an evil spirit festers in one, it becomes a blight on all of those around it. It spreads like sickness. There is something here, something in these woods, a force. I do not know why it has come, but it spreads its corruption.
You must know of the curse your son is afflicted with, or what he believes he is. You do not think they are connected?
She turns back for the first time and kind of regards you. My son.
Is your son James Marlowe?
Did he send you?
He merely told us you were here.
Well, he's done more if you know of the curse.
He has enlisted our help.
Wait a moment. We'll return to my home and speak there. She cuts something out of the bear.
Silas watches pretty closely. I mean, he's generally just someone who observes process.
She wraps it in like an oil cloth, and then she stands up and kind of wipes her hands off. And she says, "Come, let's go. Leave that. I'm sure Osanu is close by, watching. He'll take care of the bear."
Curses on him. Mr. Beauclair, are you hurt?
No, I'm fine.
Mrs. Sheila, that bear slashed me pretty good on the hip there. Do I have anything to be worried about? What with the corruption and all?
I believe that all of us have to be worried.
Fair enough.
She brings you to her house, which is a small, actually stone-walled building that must have already been up here.
Are there any fish drying lines around
There
there?
are fish drying lines. You see all kinds of, all kinds of accoutrements.
That's what I had in mind.
You were just at the wrong address. The Airbnb is exactly as promised.
By the way, rookie move. We did not search the cave for treasure. Wow.
Oh man, we're not going to roll in the World of Darkness treasure check? I'm sure that can't go wrong.
Yeah.
She brings you inside to this little one-room hut and starts washing her hands in a wash basin. There's a bed. There's a cook pot rather, with a fire that she starts to get going. And
Silas, looking at the wash basin and stuff, he says, "Was that bowl yours by the bear's cave?"
she nods.
Kingsley hasn't gone in yet. He turns to Les or anyone else that's standing outside and says, "Should we not exercise some caution? Those natives obviously meant us ill will. You think they'll come back trying to finish the job the bear started?"
She says, "I apologize for
They
them."
fucking sent us to get killed by a bear. Don't look at me like a racist.
I was about to say something much worse.
None of us were thinking that. It's just a guilty conscience.
She says, it was wrong what they did to you. It was their job, their hunt to be performed. They were to go and kill the mother of the forest, mother of the mountain, excuse me. But you performed admirably. You, boy, lay down. She gestures towards the bed.
Here we go. You guys want to watch?
She starts mixing some sort of like paste, and she says, "Take that off. Let's see what happened to you." And as she's mixing stuff, she says, "So, what is it you seek to know? What brings you here?"
Your son, he told us that he is destined to die before his 50th birthday.
Mm-hmm. He is.
And we are trying to prevent it.
He's asked you to help him stop fate.
If that's what you call it. It seems more sinister than that.
And how may I help?
We are looking for the history of your family, to discover its origin so that we may undo what has been following your family through the ages.
You know of my husband's death?
We do.
James's father?
Mr. Burke here has read the account.
Was that fate as well? That ill ambush that took his life?
Did you believe the story you read simply because it listed the murderers as, what was the wording? Disgruntled Indians? Is that what they called them?
Well, I could only go off the information I had gathered, and I knew he worked for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, so did not seem wildly out of the realm of possibility.
Do you know who they blamed for that? Specifically, the disgruntled Indians.
I hope it was not the same that sent us up that hill.
No. It was a group that they tracked just outside of Morgantown in West Virginia. Do you know how far that is from here?
It's some ways, yes.
A group of 12 with all of their possessions and no horses. A group that could not have possibly covered that much land in that much time. A group that were not killers. They were just displaced people looking for a home. They had never even been here. The ones who took the fall for my husband's death had never even set foot in Maryland. There were no disgruntled Indians. There was only the 2 men he traveled with.
Very well, and then
Silas looks up when
who
she
was
says,
responsible then? Who were these men?
Matt, you met one of those men. Walter Tandon was with him when he was ambushed.
Oh, yeah, that was the guy you
saw
talked
him.
to in the town, right?
I thought that was the person he saw in a dream.
Yes.
Both. One and the same.
She says George Dawson and Walter Tandon.
Dawson?
She nods.
Well,
And if we were to look into the deaths of your husband's father, would we find similar names involved? Yeah.
Ben Willis, Langdon Phillips, Preston Baker. They're all long dead. But those are the 3 men that were buried in that mine with Adam Marlowe.
Baker. That was the other man that fired upon us.
Was that the grandfather of Joshua Baker?
She nods. She says, they came out alive when they were dug out. They claimed that he died of injuries during the cave-in. Blake never believed it. Too convenient.
So, this is not, why am I speaking like a French accent? This is not, fates then. These are men killing your family, yeah?
They are a group of men and women. I do not know their motivation, but there are forces at work here in Black Valley. Forces that seek to ensure that my son and his father don't see the age of 50.
What could be the motivation of that? Where is the reason in that? You allow someone to live a long life. Not many people live to 50, yeah? What is the point?
Some sort of allegiance to King George beyond the grave. It was his agents that were reckoned to be a part of one of Marlowe's forebears passing.
It is a long grudge to carry.
Then why not kill them before they make more voice in the bloodline? Why keep it going?
Those royals, they're keen to this kind of thing. Endured suffering.
A perceived blight upon the world to keep them in pain seems, reasonable.
Did you ever see anything, Ashila, when you were among the townsfolk? Anything that would suggest their allegiance or something that would give some sense as to the purpose of this thing?
She shakes her head no. She says, I've looked into it, as did Blake. They are secretive. They have done this for many generations, and with that comes a cunning.
Jake, it seems that she's got her wits about her, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. She says, but there's something else at play. There are two forces here. There are the people of Black Valley who you cannot trust. And there is something else in this forest. I do not know if it is something that they have summoned. I don't know what its motivation is. But there is a great beast that hunts the borders of Black Valley.
It's what I thought Osanu was hunting out there.
I kind of look around the room. We have seen evidence of such a thing. We have seen men die at the hands of an inexplicable predator. And we have seen things that even defy our imaginations, defy our words. What drove you out here, Ashila? Was it the townsfolk?
I came here because I am unsure. For so long, I tried to help my husband to stop his fate, to ensure that it wouldn't be carried on to my son. But as the years went on, I became unsure if I was doing the right thing.
To try to preserve the life of your son? I mean, how could that not be the right thing? You should be proud of the man that James has become, the great feats he's achieved. Your grandchildren.
James has done magnificent things, as did his father and his before him. What was your name?
Burke. Kingsley Burke.
Mr. Burke, do you read the good book?
Of course. I can't help myself. Kingsley looks down at her hands.
They are gnarled and old.
Ringed?
She does wear a wedding ring, but that's all.
Do not look delicate.
No. She says, Matthew 26:52. Put your sword back in its place, Jesus said to him, for all who draw the sword will die by the sword.
I wish, as a player, I knew the Bible as well as Kingsley. I could quote some scripture back to you.
You have
Something about
no doubt done your research on my son's family. You know that going back as far as we can tell, they are warriors, great warriors who have done great things for their country. As your book says, those who live by the sword die by the sword.
But certainly not all of the men in your family have lived such a life.
She says, I don't know, but I know that this is a pattern.
And the core of what you were able to assess, the core of what you were able to find, it was the people.
Many of them. I'm not sure if all of them. But enough for that place to be dangerous.
Men such as James might say 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come near thee. And that is why we are here in his hour of need.
You're wise to quote that passage.
Yes, I only had to look it up just for a moment.
Now tell me, how many must die to keep my son safe? She looks at you, Benton, when she says that.
They made their choice.
I find myself quite in agreement with Mr. Beauclair here. We are not talking about the innocent. Every man has a right to defend himself and his family.
I
There
meant
are forces.
we made our choice.
Yeah, Jake, circling back to that, when we were at the crossroads, what was the actual the two options? One was to save.
Probably ask Matt that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Matt, there were two options. One was to save Marlowe at the cost of many.
Yeah, one was I asked you all what were you all willing to pay to save Marlowe, and the choice was to save Marlowe, and it could cost many lives, or to not save Marlowe but save many others. And what was more important? Y'all chose saving Marlowe.
Well, if the people who are dying are all the baddies,
We don't know.
She says, I know that there are two forces now at work. The people of Black Valley and the beast in the forest. I don't know what motivates either, but that is what you must next learn. Perhaps you already know this beast, or you know what it seeks to do. I don't know.
I think we have an idea.
As for the people, there's a place in Black Valley, place that I was never able to find. Their secrets are hidden there. She is tending to your wounds, Ryan. And as she's doing that, you have a old gunshot wound?
Yeah, I have a sound like Burke there. Yeah, I would have probably a scar. So yeah, I would have one old gunshot wound, one new gunshot wound, and then a bear wound.
She touches the old scar, and she says, "You carry many things with you."
Well, yeah, I mean, this one's a through shot, but that bullet's still lodged in there, I think, right up against my shoulder blade. Don't bother me none, though.
There is more than just a bullet. Yes.
Well, yeah.
They have a name for you, or a saying. They say that there are men who walk with two wolves.
Did
Oh, that's what I was. Yeah, that's what
Orano?
Osanu said when when we met earlier.
you said that in English.
When we crossed
did.
paths. Yeah.
No, he did not say that in English.
Okay,
But
but
you
I had
didn't realize
comprehend
that.
languages up. So
Yeah.
Believe I've told you everything I can. I need to tend to this wound. She points to the bullet shot. Let him sleep here tonight.
Well, I think
starting a new Marlowe line.
we might but perhaps it's better to return, and I think we have medical supplies at the house. I'm not sure this is... Do we understand infection? I'm not quite...
I don't think germ theory is a thing.
What a shame. Let's spin it. Rub some dirt on it.
I mean, this poultice is made of the finest mosses.
She says, this house is too crowded for all of you, but make yourselves comfortable outside, set a fire. I'll bring you food. Let the boy sleep here. He will be good to walk in the morning.
It is not as if we have enough food at the cabin, so perhaps it is best, recover our strength.
I look out like from her cabin, like we hiked a
She means just like
ways.
outside the door.
Yeah. Where there's all the dry fishing lines.
Yeah.
Accoutrement.
She says, Matt, she says to you, you stay as well.
Kingsley, after you say that, no, he says, well, I think our greatest strength is strength in numbers. Kind of looks at you knowingly without referring to the missing number.
Yeah, you're all right. But I think less, perhaps it would be good for him to get some sort of, I mean, she seemed to know what she was doing. She's, I don't know. It's less okay to move. That bear strike was quite gruesome.
Can Kingsley make a medicine roll?
Sure.
Intelligence and medicine?
Yeah.
Nope.
What was your goal?
To
See if she knows what she's doing.
I see.
Yeah, if what she's doing for treatment versus how well I think he's fit to travel. Not
You do know that Benton has a little bit of medical knowledge. He treated the wound the first time, and you realize that she kind of wants all of you to get out of her house, but you're kind of all right outside her door, and her door is open. And you realize that she is asking Benton kind of to assist her in cleaning the wound and wrapping it up and stuff. Matt, she also gives you like a root and tells you to eat it. Do you?
Yeah.
And you chew on it for a while, and it actually makes the pain numbs the pain a little bit. You're in a lot of fucking pain. Like, you basically just got the shit beat out of you by a bear.
Yeah.
So it
may not be broken ribs, but they're fucking bruised.
Yeah, it numbs the pain a bit, makes you feel a little bit better, and then she ends up giving you some other stuff as well.
Is a one in medicine just like you carry a hacksaw? Is that
Yeah, basically at this point, or a jar of leeches.
It just means I have a leather wrapped stick for you to bite down on. That's what the one is.
Nice.
No, it says also Benton is in there. He knows what he is doing in terms of medicine. Yeah, so
I lower my voice a touch and I say, James is alone in that cabin. We've now discussed yet more this conspiracy that is present. He is not far from the reach of Black Valley. There are many there that saw the direction we went. Perhaps trackers.
You are right.
I mean,
perhaps we get less, at least stable enough to travel, and then we go. Perhaps we don't stay the night.
I look out across the wilderness.
It took you like the better part of the day to get here. If you try to go back to the cabin today, it'll be like pretty late when you get there.
Silas,
it's doable, but it'll be tough.
Silas says, remember now, she has confirmed that there is something else out there. Like, Silas looks out towards the darkness in the forest. And
do you think she will protect us from this?
I do not. We may not reach our destination is all.
It perhaps is not the best to travel at night, yeah. Was there a full moon, or is the moon full, or is it waxing, waning?
There's enough moonlight to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the moon is out at least, so perhaps we can make our way.
Comfortable with how vague that answer was.
I don't know fucking moon
What is
phases.
the plus minus of werewolves?
It's
is the
a
question.
waxing gibbous. I don't know.
3/4 waxing gibbous. Well, at least last night there was enough moonlight to travel by. Perhaps it is wise for us to go back.
Gentlemen, you know me well enough to know that I'm not a huntsman, I'm not a tracker, I'm not a man of the wilderness. I'm a friend of Marlowe. That is why we're here, and we are leaving him alone. I know our companions are hurt, but I would just feel better if we were all back at one place. You do not think that is feasible for us to do. I have no choice but to listen, but I do not feel comfort in these parts.
It is feasible, yeah. It is a risk.
Silas, Silas actually, he coughs a bit.
Was I way off?
Sorry. December 22nd of 1870 was a new moon. So there's barely any moon in the sky here.
Oh, shit.
Oh, guys, we
That
should
was a
just end
poor
the game
guess.
now. This is it. It's
For
over.
all the moon trackers out there, I apologize.
Screaming at the top of their
We
lungs.
apologize now. There's no need to write a letter.
None of those clipboards have a lunar cycle on them.
Unbelievable.
How awesome would that be if I had a lunar cycle? Because it would just freak you guys out. So 100%. You'd be like, holy shit, werewolves.
If he was like, it's 3 days to the full moon, I would be like,
How much silver is in the mines around here?
Silas coughs a bit and kind of he puts a hand on one of the boulders nearby or a tree stump, and he says, "I respect what you're trying to accomplish here, what the urgency with which we need to get back, but I do think it is dangerous for us to try."
I don't want to also weigh too heavily on practical affairs, but it is December in the woods of Maryland, and I have no camping gear here.
Nor I. We would have to
Skin that bear?
skin that bear. We would have to press through the night.
I thought it smelled bad on the outside. I do not know, but one of you wants to raise this with Les and Benton. Get their thoughts.
Silas sighs and he walks up to the hut
Okay.
and steps through the kind of threshold.
Okay.
He kind of clears his throat to get their attention, and he says, we're worried for James. We are questioning whether we should stay or press on. Is it even possible? Les, are you in any condition to walk?
I ain't that much worse for wear than I was on the way here.
Of course not. Why would you be?
Hey, ask the other guy who got fucked
I
up
would be
down a
murdered.
mountain by a bear.
Yeah, no, and I was looking at her and Les, and then I turned to Benton.
I'll be okay, but he really should not travel sitting on the horse. It will reopen, bleed again. We'll have to stop, fix it up. But I agree. I am worried for Mr. Marlowe too. Maybe we can stay here and you continue ahead, and if whatever she said is out there doesn't get you, then we see you in the morning.
Go.
But if I were
I like
you,
that idea.
I would stay.
Do we run the risk, though, Benton, of this thing preying on Marlowe?
What? The
Do we
two
run-
times this thing has attacked, yes. The first was to protect us, and the second was to protect him. If it is this thing that is out here, I don't think that's what we fear. I think we fear the Dawson, the Tandan, the Ben Willis. That is the fear. But you make it your choice. His life, no matter the cost.
I hear you, Benton. I'm going to step outside.
Okay.
And I come down and kind of relay the conversation to you guys.
Well, that's not an answer.
His wounds will open if we travel. That's what Benton said.
We can go without them, but, well, we are stronger together, yeah?
I am willing to go. You see Silas kind of turn and square his shoulders. He looks at the two of you.
So, if I'm tracking right, you guys you don't want to leave You don't want to leave Marlowe alone overnight. So half of you are going to go back now.
Well, that's what I just resolved to say that I'm willing.
Okay.
Kingsley would also feel safer back with Marlowe in the cabin. That is a part of the motivation here.
Yeah. The main problem is just getting back.
Logistics are crazy.
Monster in the woods aside, it's just it's tough. It's gonna be a tough trip
trails.
back. Yeah.
Are we gonna fucking freeze to death out here?
Well, not only that too, but like Benton is like our guide most of the time.
Les is probably kind of the best tracker kind of wilderness guy. But I mean, if you stay here at her house, she's got food and can make you a fire. So yeah, you getting back, there's definitely merit in that, and the idea of not leaving him. But it's a risky proposition to go back now.
I suppose I don't know. Do you think James has a sense of how far we would have traveled? It doesn't seem like he's too familiar with the whereabouts of his mother. Perhaps the greatest fear would be that he would set out on his own to find us.
I think one night is reasonable enough to understand that perhaps we got caught up somewhere, or we made it to her house, but perhaps it was late. I think you will understand. If we break out first the light, then we will get back mid-morning, yeah? Maybe afternoon. And I think he can wait that long.
Silas kind of nods and shrugs his shoulders and says, very well. We will wait. And we will pray.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pray that none others find him first.
Nice. Everything okay, Ryan? Good?
Yeah, you guys left me behind?
So you guys set up camp outside of her house and you pray.
Oh, yeah.
And you wait. And you have some venison stew while she tends to Les's wounds. While she's doing that, she actually sets up like a little spot in the corner for Benton as well, to stay inside, just something a little more comfortable since you're pretty banged up. And while she's kind of cooking and tending to your wounds, she looks at you, Les, and she says, do you know the story of the wolf and the flame?
I reckon I ain't heard that one.
Long ago, in a place that grows so cold in winter that even the hardiest animals can freeze in the cold, there was a pack of wolves. One winter, as the snow began to fall, a young pup came across a village of humans. The pup watched the humans use fire to fight off the cold. And when the humans slept, the pup snuck into the village and took the fire. He carried it back to his pack in his jaws. That winter, no wolf died. But wolves are not meant to wield fire. The fire burned away the pup's jaw and left him without teeth. The next winter, the wolf went back and carried the fire to his pack, and it burnt away his snout and took away his ability to smell. The next year, it burned away his ears, then his claws, and then it burned away his fur, and his pack no longer recognized him, and so they left him. And he was alone, and he was no longer a wolf, for he had no fur to keep him warm from the cold, no ears to hear prey, no jaws to hunt, or claws to fight, or snout. He had nothing but the fire. That night, Matthew, Benton has a dream. You are perched in a tree, looking down at a cabin where James Marlowe sleeps. Coming down the road, you see torches, and you see a dozen riders. They ride up to the house, and they start to dismount and surround it. And then you fly down into their mists, and chaos ensues. There's flashes of light as they shoot rifles. There's screams as you pull them off of their horses and into the sky and drop them. And then you wake in a cold sweat. It's just about dawn.
So,
The
Sheila
22nd of December. She is there.
she's sleeping with Les.
She's sleeping in a chair.
Oh, she's not keeping him warm. Not
She's the fire.
She's burning away your snout.
Just that soul patch gone.
You all start to wake up as the sun comes up. And she gives you guys a couple furs as it is a cold December morning now.
Yeah. Danke. Let's and Benton, you well enough to ride? Yeah.
Matt, I'm sorry, Ryan. You're all bandaged up, but you're feeling pretty good. Roll your stamina.
3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. You feel a lot better. You can't see the wound because it's covered, but you recover 3 levels of damage,
What crap?
which is impossible.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's that word again. Inconceivable.
I'm not sure you understand what that word means.
I have to check my cheat sheet here for non-lethal. I think goes away pretty quick.
Like one a day, kind of quick. I don't think. Yeah, which is still pretty slow if you get walloped.
Your stamina rating per day, Matt.
Oh, holy shit. So I take away however many I have for stamina.
Correct.
Ooh, boy, that's a good
So
one.
one per day.
What is your stamina, Matt?
4.
Oh wow. Okay.
Damn.
The hardy boys in the house.
Yeah, we were bred that way.
Well, not so much me as it is.
No, I mean
Ronick.
the Ryan and Matt.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So we both have 4. The rest of the party combined has 5.
We've got our tanks up front.
We're playing it right.
Didn't even realize that when you two were the ones attacked. Well, it was going to go at John before, but Ryan, you
Made it roll.
Rolled
distracted
an
it.
Yeah.
impossible
rolled to distract it. So
horse riding roll.
yeah. So you guys pack up pretty quickly, and you're kind of in a hurry. And she gives you a few furs to keep you warm. Matt, do you mention anything? No.
Yeah, probably while we're packing up, or while they're packing up, I do my prayer. And you guys see as I'm like, it's a bit more like active than usual. You see, there's a lot of I'm shaking my my Asson rattle. Yeah, my wings.
Almost got me. Almost spit up the last of my monster.
I'm shaking my rattle, taking sips from my bottle this morning, and kind of like talking to myself in probably a mix of like French and Haitian. As I finish up, pack my stuff up. Dear, last night I had another dream. This was not from Legbar Baron Somedi. I think this was whatever prowls the forest. If it is true, then I think Marlowe is safe, but he will not be explainable. I think that is the best way to put it.
Well, let us hope he's safe.
Do you mean you had a nightmare about this creature? It's attacking Marlowe or something?
No, not of it. Was it. And it protected him like it has in the past.
Silas is listening to this story, and he turns to Ashila and he says, when did you first notice this presence in the woods?
A few years ago, when I left Black Valley. But it's grown stronger.
Well, danke for the hospitality and the food. We will make sure we do all we can to make sure your son is safe, yeah?
Good luck.
Is there anything you want him to know?
I just hope that he's worth it. You're all like, damn, that's a cold thing for a mom to say. Oh, thanks, Mom.
Me too.
We should ride.
All right. You guys ride back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
On the way, I do mention, so do not have the right time to discuss it, but before we left the bridge area, the workers, one of them, a young man, spoke to me, and he did mention something that he believed, he thought might be odd that was happening in Black Valley. Some sort of meeting that was occurring in the church, not of church business. Some sort of monthly gathering, secretive. I feel very much, especially with what we have learned, that this is indeed a matter of conspiracy, of men and women.
Yeah, that sounds like... Well, perhaps this is the secret room and secret space that his mother was talking about, yeah?
Let us hope we are quicker than they.
Silas says, it would be a very, as she said, cunning plot, yes? These people, they can spend years without any sort of hostility towards the man, and only in the months, perhaps a year leading up to it, after there is a lifetime of trust, that is when they make their move. Merely impossible to discern or see.
The drive that they have for this is nothing I have ever heard of. To sit and wait for so long, to take up this mantle from your family's name, yeah? If your father told you that you were born to make sure this family was suffering, what would you think?
Silas shakes his head.
The old world has secret orders and conspiracies, and for good or for ill, the Knights Templars and others, many of which hold their identities and their causes secret.
Yeah, this is true.
Les, you seem well. The vitality of youth.
Oh, I don't know if that's it, but I do feel a heck of a lot better. But what I'm wondering is why in all this would you let a person grow and thrive for nearly 50 years before? Why let the family prosper if
to make the suffering all the greater?
But I mean,
I cannot say I understand it, but I mean, it's almost a mix of a conspiracy and a foul curse to make a family pay generation after generation
mean, it's more almost a harvest than anything. It's the way they seem to go about it.
Dark Harvest. That would have been a good art title. Fuck, we ought to record it.
They wait for the autumn of whichever Marlowe's life it is, and then they reap.
Well, it is very evident that these families, they prosper alongside Marlowe, yeah? They follow him. They followed his family from England. They were all part of the same region. Perhaps there is some need to have this family exist to provide them, I don't know, some control over the family.
I grow more anxious. We should quicken our pace.
Yeah.
As you're talking, you're closing in on the cabin, and when you break into the clearing where it is, you immediately see this massacre that Benton dreamed of. You see dead horses and men scattered around the house. You see a dead guy on the roof of the house. There's fucking blood everywhere. There's a dozen dead men here. They look like they've been torn apart, dropped from great heights.
That sounds like a roll we
It
gotta
sounds
make.
like a resolve and composure roll.
Kingsley looks incredulously at Benton immediately.
Kingsley has a moment of, hey, wait a second. This is going to be hard to explain.
It's probably a cell phone thing. Like they just got on the call and
And it is silent. You don't hear birds chirping or anyone.
Mr. Marlowe.
You kick the door open, look inside. He's not here. His things are gone. His horse is gone as well. You don't see it among the dead ones.
Well,
Where did he go? What happened here? Benton, what was this? You said you dreamed it, yeah?
Yeah. And
Well,
I told
back where I
you
come from,
what
yeah.
happened already.
Well, it was a dream though, yeah?
No. I told you I was it. And that it would be difficult to explain.
did you see Marlowe in your dream?
No. Just blood. Chaos. Gunfire.
Noah has his rifle out this entire time.
You're kind of looking around like the higher tree branches. The trees kind of reach out and cover this little clearing, so you can't really see up into the sky, but they're all pretty tall, and it gives you this kind of like you're in like a dome almost of trees, and you're looking up above you and around you, and there's nothing. There's nothing here. There's not even wildlife.
Can I try to, from the memory of my dream, find the tree that I was perched in before I flew down?
You see the branch. Yeah, you see a large branch that reaches off of one of the bigger trees.
I'm gonna try to climb the tree and get to that branch.
It's like really high. But I mean, you could try, but it's way up there.
I mean, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Okay. Do you have athletics?
Yes.
All right. What is your pool of athletics and strength?
Total of 5.
Okay. You can get up there.
I'm just jotting down the
It
obituary.
takes you a while, but you manage to climb up there while the rest of you are I don't know, looking around, looking for signs of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that metallic smell in the air.
Mr. Beauclair.
You get up there, Matt.
Oui?
Mr. Beauclair.
Oui?
Don't forget you don't got wings right now.
I won't, thank you. I'm gonna look at the tree branch and just see if there's any like scratchings, markings, anything like that, any hair or fur or feathers.
There's no markings of any kind like that, but you do see on the bark of this tree branch that black kind of ichor that was on the bear.
I'll just take a cloth and kind of wipe some of it off and make my way back down.
Kingsley's not said a word. He is pale, just sitting on his horse, looking at Benton around the clearing.
I think Silas has probably seen 1 or 2 battlefields at least.
Yep.
So
that's what this looks like.
Yep.
Yeah.
He starts walking kind of among the dead and starts looking at, the bodies and their personal effects. And can he get any sense or that these were people of Blackstone?
Probably. They weren't carrying a lot of supplies, so they didn't travel super far. They weren't carrying any food or tents or anything like that.
Okay.
They were wearing masks, which were basically like, sacks over their heads.
Okay.
Were they white?
The sacks or the people?
Both.
Yes.
Yes and no.
That's weird. They were all wearing white masks and they're all black. That's so weird.
Noah is going to try to look for tracks or anything that might lead
There's
them.
a lot of tracks that lead around here. You don't see any that lead anywhere except the direction from where all these riders came. You assume that's the direction that he went.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like there are any more tracks anywhere else besides where he came from. We must hurry. We don't know if Marlowe is in even more trouble.
Kingsley mutters, like, almost to himself, says, how could he have known? It's impossible.
Silas looks up like he's kneeling next to a body. It is a difficult word, isn't it?
Benton, we are going. Calls
Wait.
up to the tree.
1 minute. Just come down the last few feet of the tree. That is where it was from. I found this. Hand the cloth with the black ichor. It looks like the same as the bear.
Yeah, it does. We need to go, yeah?
Where are you going in a hurry?
Well, I think Marlowe went.
His house?
Yeah. Or at least the way that if it only looks like there's one way where tracks go or lead to from whatever.
Yeah, back down the train tracks.
Then I'm going back on the train
One
tracks.
quick thing. It doesn't look like there's any forced entry out of the cabin.
No.
Are there any weapons? Like, are there
there's rifles
knives
all
and-
over the ground.
It's
Yeah,
all rifles? It's all firearms? Okay.
Rifles, pistols, yeah.
No, like, woodworking tools, maybe train hammers, anything, just to see if this is the
you
group
don't-
that came from there.
You don't think it is.
Okay.
I'll take a rifle.
Okay.
You see, Noah,
Nice.
he trots up ahead and then circles in his horse, like up ahead down the train track. He goes, "What are you waiting for? We need to find him, yeah?"
Mr. Kershaw, any tracks that you can discern?
Mr. Fastnot's right. All the tracks follow the train, the railway. I don't see anything divergent from there. So if hopefully Mr. Marlowe is all well and he headed off the way they came from. But we should make haste.
Silas, wait. There's probably not many of them left to attack him, but we should be on our way.
You all ride back the way you came quickly.
Mhm.
You make your way back to Black Valley, kind of at a gallop, and to to Marlowe's house. As you ride up to the front door, the door opens and Marlowe steps outside holding a rifle.
Ugh,
He says, "Get inside, quick."
yeah.
He looks very shaken, and he says, "Just leave the horses. Come in." I don't know what happened out there. You saw I didn't know when you'd be back or if there'd be more coming. I knew I had to get out of there. I've dismissed the staff. I don't know who I can trust. We're going to hold up here. I've already wired Baltimore. I've got some friends in the army still. They're going to send some men. We're going to hold up here. We're not going anywhere. We got open lines of sight all the way to the wood line. No one's getting in this house. He closes the door behind you. He's obviously like freaking out.
Yeah.
Mr. Marlowe, please calm down.
Calm down. Calm down.
Yes.
James, what did
Remember what you said earlier in the day? You said one time in your history, a member of your family did this. Where is he now? In the ground.
Well, there's something out there.
Yes,
It killed
protecting
all those
you.
men. You hear, Father? And you all look and you realize that his family is standing there in the main room. One moment. I gotta get my notes for names. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. Hold up. He says, I'm sorry, gentlemen. You have not met my family yet. My wife Lydia, my daughter Constance, my son Adam, and Cora. Constance is the oldest. She's probably 12. Adam is a couple years younger, and then Cora is the young one that you all saw outside when you arrived.
Yep.
His wife is more notes.
She's read.
His wife approaches and
Is she a
says,
harpy?
Gentlemen, thank you
Does
so
she have
much
two
for coming.
rings?
And Dan, she reaches out a hand for you to kiss, as is etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
And you take her hand and you see that she has the ring on her pinky. And that is where we'll stop.
We know who the monster is.
Maybe the whole family is the monster.
The monster's your wife.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Nastagram RPG podcast. A few quick thanks for our badass intro music, A Wilhelm Scream. They have an awesome new album, Lose Your Delusion, go check it out. For our outro music, Adrian Von Ziegler. All scores are by Adrian Von Ziegler and Antti Martikainen. No Dean on this arc, but if you want to listen to him, check out the great shows over at Liberty Street Geek, The Lost Drive-In, Kirking Off for your Star Trek love, and Mind Killer for some Dune talk. Lastly, guys, this is our 4th arc, and we are loving it. We have a lot more planned. To do that, we need you. You hear it all the time, but it's true. Podcasts won't exist without listeners, and we need your support and involvement. Ratings, reviews do make a huge difference, and so does telling people about the show. People that like role-playing game, people that like storytelling, anybody think that might dig this. So spread the word, spread the love. We got a lot more coming. See you next week.
So your wife's a demon who's protecting you against the weird cult that wants to kill you.
The weird cult, probably just being good people who are afraid of the weird demon.
That's what I was about to say. Is like, what if like he's like the Antichrist, right? And, and like after 50, he turns into like Satan.
Yeah.
And they're like, their job is to.
Yeah.
Well, when we ask him.
It's a,
Yeah,
you
just
know,
ask.
He goes full butterfly. at
Oh,
50.
well, no one asked.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Here's the thing about my family. Thanks for saving me.
My wife? Oh, that old bat.
Yeah.
Whoa,
whoa.
That harpy.
They bring you up to her bedroom. It's a fucking bat. Now she's hanging upside down.
Hot.
Oh, boy.